So it's 2026. The Glock Gen 6 came out recently, and I'd like to start a series of updates on my Glock 19 Gen 5. This will be the first part in the series, and as it sits right now, it has roughly 4,000 rounds through it. I have not actually tracked rounds. That's just a matter of doing guesstimations on how much ammo I've bought and how much ammo I don't have now, pretty much. So talking about the Glock 19 Gen 5, this was kind of my first real pistol, I guess you could say. So I got a Glock 22 Gen 3. This is a 40. Terrible decision, unless you want to buy a cheap gun. Specifically just to buy a cheap gun, do not buy a 40 in 2026. So I got fed up with the 40 and I wanted something a little smaller that could be a little bit more easily concealable. So I ended up with the Glock 19 Gen 5. And through this video, you'll see some B-roll and some pictures thrown in. This started out life as just a stock Gen 5 Glock 19. As soon as I got it, I threw the TLR1 HL on it. So that also has about 4,000 rounds. Had zero issues with that light. And then I'd say roughly 2,000 rounds into this gun, I sent it off to Wager Machine Works to get the slide cut for a RMR footprint. I also had them install the suppressor height or co-witness height sights on it, excuse me, and Cerakoted green. Originally this had the black slide and the FDE frame. I think the mix and match looks really well in my opinion. And yeah, so in terms of issues that I've had with this gun, only issues that I've ever had with this gun have either been ammo related or magazine related. That's talking about mechanical issues. Magpul magazines are great for the range because of how inexpensive they are, but when it comes to reliability and defensive applications, even competition applications, you know, a malfunction can really affect your time on a shot clock. So Magpul magazines, great for training, great for the range. Wouldn't recommend them for anything serious. Those have caused some feeding failures for me. Other stuff has just been low quality ammo. I will say this thing, I don't think has given me any malfunctions on steel case ammo, but I had one round of, I think it was 124 grain. Can't remember the name of the company, but the casing was messed up to where it wouldn't feed into the chamber, and it came from the factory like that. Other than that, I've had no mechanical failures with this gun. I haven't cleaned it on any kind of regular schedule. I'd say maybe 1,000 rounds I'll clean it, and keep in mind this is not a super deep clean. I haven't taken apart the frame or anything. That's just take the slide off, take the barrel out, recoil spring out, wipe everything down, oil it back up, and you're good to go pretty much. And then the occasional oiling, but I haven't cleaned it on a rigorous schedule or anything. And if you wanted a testament to clear to how many rounds this thing is seeing, so I cleaned the lens obviously because I need to be able to use the light, but that's all carbon buildup right there. And if you look at the barrel, there's a good amount of wear right there. And then if you're looking at the slide, you can see all that slide wear right there, and that is indicative of a pistol that has a large number of rounds through it. So again, haven't been counting, but I'm not lying about how much I've shot. So other failures that I've had with this gun, after I got this gun back from Wager, I probably had about 1,000 rounds through it, maybe more. My rear sight, there's a set screw in there that keeps it tight to the pistol. The set screw flew out and the rear sight started to drift. Shit happens. Maybe they forgot to Loctite from the factory. Anyways, simple email to Wager Machine. They sent me a new screw. Admittedly didn't have the right tool, so I took a punch, beat it to the right spot, put the screw back in with some Loctite, and it's been holding fine since then. So just a disclosure, that's another issue I've had, not with the gun, but with an accessory. And then moving away from issues, you'll notice that this has an adapter plate. Originally what this had on it was a HoloSun 407C. It was one of the $170 PSA daily deals, and that red dot probably lived on this gun for at least 2,000 rounds. Never had an issue with it. I just saw a good deal on an EPS on Facebook Marketplace actually, And the EPS is definitely a upgrade. You get enclosed emitter and a couple different reticle options versus what I had before. So I went ahead and picked that up, and luckily it came with the plate adapter. I would recommend that when you send your gun off to get optic cut, stick with whatever footprint and not have to worry about adapter plates, because that's kind of the whole reason one would get their gun direct cut, is they don't have to deal with adapter plates. But with some Loctite and the proper amount of torque, haven't had any issues with that. I don't see myself having any issues. It's just one more place of failure, which you kind of want to avoid. And yeah, in terms of magazines, I have mostly Glock mags and Magpul mags. Again, Magpul mags have given me some issues, so they are strictly for range use, because you know, buying $15, $30 magazines gets expensive. So the $15 or $20 magazine, it's a little easier on the pocket. This one specifically has a Terran Tactical extension. I haven't had any issues with that. If it tells you how much I trust it, it's loaded with my Federal HST 124 grain plus please for my bedside gun. So I get 20 rounds in this, which I really like. I also have some Metgar metal magazines. So I have 2 of these Metgar 18 round magazines, and you can see the way these fit in here. They don't look quite as good as the Terran extension, but 18 rounds, not super big, they're metal. These also have rounded magazine catchers right here, which I really like, because you don't have to worry about these tearing up your plastic mag release right here. So enjoying these so far. I have had a few failures with these, mostly failures to feed. Do not trust these yet. I'm going to keep shooting them. I've only had them out to the range twice. But I would say buyer beware. Make sure you, if they're not OEM Glock magazines, test your magazines to make sure that they function properly. Or just buy OEM Glock magazines. That's a really easy fix. They're affordable, especially compared to M&P magazines. Those are $50 a pop for my 10mm. Quite expensive. Not a big fan of how much those cost. Now, when it comes to Glock, there's a lot of naysayers that say they're overpriced for what they are, which I can kind of agree with, but at the same time, there aren't very many companies out there that push out guns of this amount of quality. You know, 95% of people, if you ask them what's a reliable pistol, they would say Glock. They may not be the most ergonomic guns. They may not be the best price. They do come with crappy sights. I will give you that. That is something that they should fix. But if you pick up a Glock, it's going to work. And that's why I picked this. I wanted something that was no frills, ready to go to defend mine and my family's life. And it's held up to that standard above and beyond, specifically with OEM Glock mags. And that's, you'll find that with a lot of pistols. You run the magazines they come with from that company, they run well. You start buying aftermarket magazines, it gets a little iffy. And then touching on the naysayers of Glock, let's talk about some shootability. I can shoot this gun extremely well. I can do a sub 3-second bill drill out of a draw with this gun, all A-zone hits, if that tells you anything. They are extremely easy to shoot well, especially a gun of this size. It's kind of the perfect size of being able to conceal, and also being not necessarily a full-size pistol, but it shoots like a full-size pistol. Then you also have the aftermarket as well to think about with Glocks. This gun specifically, I do plan on doing a Radian Ramjet in the future, maybe. It depends, because I want to get into USPSA, and I know a compensator puts you in different divisions, so might keep this one stock. I do plan on converting this Glock 22 and 40 to a 9mm at some point, and just throwing on a Glock 17 Gen 3 slide. That would make me want to shoot that gun a lot more. So anyways, that is around a 4,000 round update on the Glock 19, and I guess a bit of a ramble. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.